What's up, cinephiles? It's time to float.
For this episode, we are going to review one of the most anticipated films of 2019, It Chapter 2, directed by Andy Muschietti. We are doing this via live stream. I'm on the set. I don't know Phil, where are you right now? I think Pennywise abducted you.
Yeah, Pennywise abducted me and brought me all the way to Bicol. Okay, so It Chapter 2 is about the losers. Now they're all grown up. It's been 27 years since their first encounter with Pennywise the Clown, and now they went back to Derry to finally put an end to this evil clown's deeds.
In here, we have a lot of subplots going on. We have an adult Bill, played by James McAvoy, an adult Beverly, played by Jessica Chastain, an adult Ben, played by Jay Ryan, Bill Hader plays an adult Richie, Isaiah Mustafa plays an adult Mike, James Ranson plays an adult Eddie. Also, we have Andy Bean as Stanley Yours. You know, this film has a lot of meat to it. The story needs to serve a lot of character journeys, and in a way, it kind of reminded me of, remember in Endgame where they all have their personal mission to retrieve the stones? In a similar kind of way, each chapter 2 runs on a 3-hour mark, and each one has their own personal character developments. Most of it's rooting for their past trauma and now finding way to overcome that. It's a usual thing for an ensemble film. Some of them get the shorter end of the stick. Some of them have a more fleshed out arc.
I'm actually pretty mixed about this movie, but first I want to talk about the positives because there's a lot to like about this movie. I want to compliment the cast. You've mentioned all of them. They are so good in this film. There's no trace of bad acting in this movie.
I must say the casting director really did a great job because they really resemble the adult versions, the younger versions, and the adult version. So that is already a plus point.
Yeah, Bill Hader as Richie is actually my favorite character in this movie because he is so funny. He brings so much to this movie. The visual imagery shown in this movie, especially in the third act, is so great. Some of them you can see that it's CGI. It's kind of distracting sometimes, but overall, it was so good, especially towards the end when they were in their final confrontation against Pennywise. The way they direct those scenes, it was so awesome.
The opening sequences and the way they do the transitions of this film, I really like because it's really seamless. We have these several characters competing for their screen times. It's not a fair share for everyone, but I have to agree the standouts for this ensemble will be Bill Hader. I also enjoyed James Ranson playing the adult Eddie. This is a reunion. They go back to the places that they used to hang out, and then the film finds a way to organically mesh the past to the present.
Did you know that they were actually de-aged?
The age. Oh, that's why I had that in my head because we just watched Stranger Things and we knew that Finn Wolfhard is already a taller man now. But and then looking at Eddie, the last time I saw him was during Shazam, and he looks younger. So part of me, while watching the film, I was thinking that if they shot that ahead,
I never noticed any of the de-aging on those younger characters. I don't know how they did it, but it's awesome. It's kind of awesome.
in the same level with I would say the Captain Marvel, the way they aged Samuel Jackson. I guess as they deep to their individual arcs without getting much into the spoiler territory. We are going to mention it part 1 spoilers here, but no spoilers for each chapter 2 here. Okay, so first for Bill, he's still reeling on the loss of his younger brother.
There's a subplot about him trying to save this kid. The kid kind of reminded him of his failure to, in a way, save his brother. But I didn't like that subplot because it really didn't add anything to the movie. It just kind of came and went. It was like that subplot was added so that there can be an additional scare in the movie.
For me, it acted more as a fuel to him.
There are just some scenes that you know what's gonna happen. Scene after scene, you know what you're gonna get. So, in the end, for a horror movie, this did not scare me even a little bit, actually.
Well, you have a scare. Your standards for scare is much higher than mine. So, but I agree. It kind of operates in the same level with the first film. We see the characters get separated, and then each character having their own scare. We've already seen it in the first part, and having seen it now, it makes less impact because you're already expecting those beats, but there's still creativity on those jump scares. I'd like to hear your thoughts about how does the book weighs against the movie.
That's actually one of my positives, because reading the book, actually, the part of the adults is the weakest part of the book. So I was kind of nervous how they're going to handle the ending
Why is the adult part is the weakest?
because it was kind of silly. In the movie, it looked fine, this ritual of chud and all this stuff happening. But when you're reading it in the book, you're more interested in the part of the kids because there's much more focus on trauma there. Actually, if you've read the book, everything's happening simultaneously when they were kids and 27 years.
I think that's a very common element for Stephen King books. We have different storylines going on, and then he builds the tension, and then he cuts it, so you will have to wait for the several next chapters.
I'm glad you mentioned about tension though. That's something that I felt that this movie is lacking. Tension in this movie is derived from its jump scares. And because there's so many jump scares in this movie, particularly in the middle part, and you know what's gonna happen, it won't scare you anymore. The jump scares don't even affect you anymore because you know exactly what's gonna happen.
I get shocked multiple times, but scared, genuinely scared, I can't say that for sure. But this film is very fast paced for me, and my heart was kind of popping in those scenes that, you know, when the shock is delivered, the jump scare or whatever you call them. For this particular film, I am looking forward if the film delivers its heart because it has a positive coming of age and about overcoming your fears, your insecurities. We know from it that fear comes in different forms. For Beverly, it's the way that her father molested her as a kid. I'm expecting more from something, and that's actually the history of Pennywise, and I didn't get much of that. Except for a scene that involving a grandma, but I was expecting that the film will delve more on that, and there's a couple of flashback scenes involving Mike, which now acts as the historian of the group. I think his character gets the shorter end of the stick. What do you think about that? Are you expecting more of the Pennywise arc?
Actually, I didn't. If you've read the book, the mythology of Pennywise is he's just been there for hundreds of years. He comes back every 26 to 28 years to feed on children. That's the whole mythology of Pennywise in the book. There's not really much history there, so I really didn't expect that. But I completely agree with what you said about Mike getting the short end of the stick. It's like his character is just there to bring the group together and to kind of teach them how to beat Pennywise, but we really didn't get much from him.
I guess it really works that way that Pennywise remains as an enigma because if you tell everything about the character, the scare factor won't be as expected anymore. Then I have to say that for the character of Stanley, there's a reasoning behind his actions that doesn't really feel earned for me.
I think they gave the most justice to Beverly's character because they really delved into her trauma about her previous experiences with her father. They actually showed during the beginning that she's in an abusive relationship. Actually, in the book, she's been in tons of abusive relationships since leaving Derry. So I think of all the characters, they gave the most justice to Beverly.
It's also kind of cool that Ben grew up to be a fit, muscular guy. But then some of the insecurities, even though you're still feeling good about yourself, they keep coming back. Of course, if I have to compare it to the first part, I like the first part more. But each chapter 2 does a good job on connecting the past and the present. The jump scares, not as effective as the first part, but for someone who's gets easily scared, I'm kind of glad that it wasn't too scary. But I'm giving this a high score. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 stars.
My problem with the movie is it's not particularly scary, but there's a lot of great visual imagery in it. The performances are amazing. It's really a funny movie, right? There's so much humor in it. Although I kind of felt the 3 hour runtime, but overall, I can recommend this movie. It's a good movie, but the comparison is inevitable. If chapter 1 is better, this could work as if you want to watch a double feature, which is gonna take about 5 hours of your time. Although there's issues, I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Okay, guys, that is a review for It Chapter 2. Please do hit like, share, and subscribe.
Don't forget to click the notification bell to be notified of the latest episode of Screen King!